All right, we're back with another episode of Play by Play. What's up, Nick?
What's going on? Happy St. Patty's Day, Dustin. How
That's
you
right.
doing?
I'm doing good, but I just got my arm pinched.
Yeah, look at that
Oh,
studio you got over there. Let's give some props. Look at you. You're looking
dude,
great over there.
don't it look great? Chris just showed out in here,
Yeah.
man. He's got the hats. He's got the old school hats.
Yeah,
He's got the
you got to switch
detail
that
bookie
back,
logo.
though. You got
Huh?
the ECN on. You got to put get the,
Give me this.
look at, watch this
Give
hat
me
swap. This
this.
guy's
Hang
cool.
on, dude.
Yep.
We can't have this. We can't be having this.
He's got the hats on the
I'm gonna put
ready.
this one back. There we go.
Look at that.
We don't mess around, boy.
Oh, that's awesome.
We do a hat swap mid-show.
Yeah.
We do a wardrobe shop, a
We gotta start it off right.
wardrobe swap mid-show. Dude, we got a hell of a show today. Nick, you excited about it?
Oh, I'm excited. Yeah, we're talking competition today.
We're talking you versus me, dog. Competition.
Yeah, you know,
Competition.
what is it? Alabama versus Illinois.
Alabama. Oh man, y'all don't want none.
No.
Y'all don't want none. No, dude, it's competition. It's such a good conversation, and I think it's so dang good. We're going to end up having a second part, probably, right?
I know. So we're just to give you a broad overview for everybody. Like we're going to dive into the customer and then identifying your competition, and then next week, you know what I mean? Let's talk about beating your competition.
That's right. So we got to identify it. We got to figure out who we want to beat to learn how to beat them. So,
well, let me ask you this: you like cheeseburgers, Dustin?
I'm a cheeseburger. Let me tell you how much a cheeseburger fan I am. So I'm on a pretty strict diet right now, but cheeseburger is my go-to cheat. If I'm going to cheat on my diet, it is a cheeseburger for sure. Why do you ask me that?
I'm asking you that because I'm thinking like McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, right? They're all putting out a cheeseburger, right?
Yeah.
Plain and simple. But how do they sort of deal with competition? Because they're popping up next to each other. They're fighting for the same people. And I think that's a cool sort of conversation to have for like a larger business and how they handle it.
Yeah.
Little guys sometimes got to look up and be like, hey, that's how they do it. We should do it that way too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, it's rare that a business just comes up with something completely brand new. Okay. That happens still. But at the end of the day, it's so rare. So chances are, whatever you decide to do, detailing, there's going to be some competition.
Yeah.
Right. And a lot of detailers think that any detailer is their competition, right? In their area. Okay. Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Oh, look at that.
Any customer that might be, right? Oh, who could it be? Any detailer, any local detailer could be their competition. Mm-hmm. And some detailers think that tunnel washes, car washes, the guy with the brush in the bucket, one man show, car wash could be competition, and they're right to some level, right? Mm-hmm. That is a form of competition, but we've got to dial that in. We got to figure out what is really your competition, and I think to do that, we have to start with the customer, because if I define competition, when I think of competition, I think if I have one customer coming between two companies and that customer has to decide which way to go, that's competition.
Yeah, I think
splitting a customer.
Trying to figure out that customer before you try and figure out your competition is really important. So
Absolutely.
It's like, that's the person coming into your store. Let's focus on them, and then figure out, hey, other people might want that person too. Let's make sure that we've got the right thing set up to keep us protected there.
Right, that we're speaking to that customer on why they would choose us. Reality is, all right, we're going to go ahead and just pop the bubble on this thing. Reality is every detailer and every car wash is not your competition just because you have detail in your name. Yep. It's very specific. Your competition is very specific to you, but that's determined by your customers. Nick, how do you define your customer?
So we offer a lot of services over at Splash. So the way I define it, the first thing that I'm sort of going to touch on is the new car customer. You know what I mean? New car customer, they love their car. You know what I mean? I've taken a lot of data. I'm just kidding. Mm-hmm. This is just our opinion. But
I've done years and years of calculations.
Years of data compiled. No, they love that car for about 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
You know, that car has more inherent value to them for 2 to 3 years. Absolutely. We're going to try and look for the best service possible to take care of that new Tesla, take care of that new Honda, take care of that Ferrari. And that's when they're going to search, right? We're a hand car wash, right? Hand car wash near me. I want to take care of my car. They're putting in that extra effort.
You mean tell you why I think they think that? Like we all bought the new vehicle or the new shoes or the new anything, and a few weeks to a month later, it starts losing a little bit of that pop.
Yeah.
A little bit of that newness.
Mm-hmm.
So hiring a detailer is a way to keep that. You know, they think, okay, I'm going to invest a little bit of money, but I'm going to keep this new feeling as long as I possibly can. That's where I think that new car customer comes from.
What about for you? What's a customer you guys are sort of looking at?
All right, so obviously, we are not usually a first time detail customer.
Okay.
And what I mean by that, usually our customers have had details possibly somewhere else. Maybe they did their own stuff, and they're looking for an elevated service. They're looking for a little bit more involved technical detail. Especially in the marine industry. Typically they start with the and look, this means like if you're one of these guys, that's fine because I was there too, right? I mean, you know, and it's an evolution of your detailing business. We were the car wash guys, we were the boat wash guys for a long time. So I don't mean anything by that negatively, but that's the next step would be what our shop is, and that more technical detail. So our customers are typically not a first time detailer. That's kind of a broad, like, the first step of identifying our customers.
The other part I think that's interesting is a customer, I think for both of us, is they're looking for an elevated service. Maybe like
absolutely,
not a first time detail customer. They've gone somewhere, weren't super happy, and they're like, man, I just want someone that knows how to handle my vehicle.
Yeah. They're willing to pay for that professionalism. And you know what's unique to us is location doesn't really determine our customer. Yeah. Our customers are willing to travel in pretty far off. I mean, we've had customers coming from Birmingham, from mid Florida, Mississippi, 3, 4, 5 hours around just to have our service. And they had to pass a lot of good detailers to get to us. So, it's, how does that work for you, Nick?
We're a little more close knit. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Hand car wash detail center. We have our mobile detailing unit that goes, probably within an hour. So I usually say that 1 hour mark.
Yeah.
That's pretty much our radius.
It's a little tight. Sorry about that. When I think about cars, we're probably similar. But I guess our bigger outreach is boats, where a customer's willing to haul a boat a little ways to get what they're looking for. Yeah. But definitely 100% would be that professional. That customer looking for a very specific detail, a very technical, and I say that because that's really what I refer to it as. So that's just how we find out a customer. So again, did we not just check some detailers off of our list right there as competition? I mean, when we identified our customer in that manner, didn't we just move some of the detailers off of our list?
Yeah, we're zoning in on exactly what our business is, and that's not necessarily for everybody. You know what I mean? Right. Like a little bit different for a smaller shop. I think it's a good thing to sort of talk about for that smaller shop. How
absolutely
you can identify that customer as well. What are your thoughts there?
Well, let's think about that, right? So we own a fairly, both of us own fairly large operations. All right, and we just said a lot of our customers aren't first time details. Well, somebody's got to service that car the first time. They've got to service that vehicle the first time. So if I'm a beginner, if I'm in the business first 1-2 years, I'm going after that first time detail. Yeah. I'm going after that customer that is introducing themselves to the detailing world, tired of just doing it on their own. That's where my marketing's going. So I'm not chasing the super technical, the super restoration jobs. Because I am looking for that consumer that's going to use, that's an entry level detail. That's how I'm learning to get to this point.
I think that's a great point, and we'll get into it next week a little bit about beating the competition. But those smaller shops and those, first time detailers just starting out, using a platform like a Groupon, you see what I'm saying?
Yes. Yeah. Where your value shopper is going to be.
Exactly. And it's going to do the work for them to acquire that customer. That's not always they get poop on, Groupon gets
right.
thrown at it sometimes, but it's not a bad strategy for someone starting out.
Well, and think about this, we're talking about competition, but because I hear it all the time, I go around to trainings and these guys say, well, such and such opened up a shop right down the street. the market is much bigger. The pool that you're pulling from is much bigger when you're entry level. For I would say anybody that's been detailing under 3 years probably fits into this mold, unless you just came from a shop, and really brought a lot of experience. What did Billy Smith say? Only competition detail Billy has is himself. I'm the one that sets the standards. Amen to that, brother.
Love that.
I love it. Yeah. And that's the way you should look at it. But, and I would love for people to transition to that thought process. But I was speaking back to those, the newer detailers, the smaller shops, and maybe they're not new, but the pool that they're drawing from of customer base is so large that it does open the door to have more shops that you're not necessarily competing side by side because the pool is so big there.
And I think the key point for us, we were we've got like 5 car washes within 2 miles of us. You know what I mean?
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And they do detailing. They do some other stuff as well, right? And we were the last ones there, right? We're going to be the last one standing because it is going through and just, hey, I love being in second place versus first place. That's a lot more
right.
fun. That competition, direct competition there, it's like, hey, can you go and elevate your services to, past everybody else, and not being afraid to do so either.
Well, competition makes you good. How fast would the fastest guy on earth be if he wasn't racing somebody?
Yeah, this is the one-man race kind of thing, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, reality is competition makes you better. All right, Nick, so you define your customer, and I'm going to sum up your customer the way I heard it.
Okay.
Customers shopping for super, like a elevated level of detail, looking for, quality service, looking for very specific. You guys have great customer service, so looking then really value that. How do you define your competitions? Speaking that those are your customers. Like, how does that help you define your competition?
Again, it does come down to the similar, like on the road, any business that has those similar services within that 1 hour radius, right?
Yeah.
I treat them as competition. I say, hey, look, they're going to be doing something. That doesn't mean I'm necessarily focused on what they're doing, but hey, that customer,
you're acknowledging it.
Exactly. But the other part of it that doesn't get talked about is the online competition. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And competing for the eyeballs and saying, hey, that new customer or that new car customer that just bought, a Range Rover. Well, they're going to go and search, and I better make sure I pop up. If I don't pop up, then someone else is competing for that attention.
So,
yeah.
So sometimes your competition is not necessarily other detailers, like local, like you're in an online world.
Yeah.
Just getting customers' attention could be competition.
Yeah, I think that's something that doesn't get touched on a lot. So
that's a great way to look at it, man. I like that.
Good customer, I'm going to wash their car. I'm going to detail their car. We're going to make sure it's ceramic coated. We're going to do maintenance washes at their house. We're going to service that customer in every possible way. And at least that's, my sort of broad approach to how we run our business.
Hey, you brought something up here and it just keyed me up. A dealership could be your competition.
Absolutely.
At the new car purchase level, most of them have detail shops. Yeah. And we all know that the typical service that they get there. Okay. So we're not going to hide behind the fact that it's not, I don't even think the dealership would say we're of that level, but they're making those sales. So you are competing for that business.
I think a really easy example is there's a Porsche dealership down the street. They offer free car wash. Can't be free, right? But do you really want to drive that $100,000 Porsche through that machine for free? No. Probably not. You know what I mean? It's so that's where, again, Porsche is one of our number one cars. It's right down the street. We get a ton of Porsches that come through.
Sure.
And again, they're like, man, I could go wash this for free, but I'd rather pay and get the service done right, and maintain my vehicle. And then then they're not going anywhere.
So your competition, you're not necessarily fixating on it. You're not studying what they're doing. You're acknowledging, and when we talk about that competition, I'm talking about like brick and mortar or, mobile guy, whatever, your detailed competition.
Yep.
You're not like fixating on what they're doing. You're not studying them. You're just acknowledging and, maybe keep an eye on it, but really just focusing on yourself. Is that right?
Yeah, I kind of do it. Again, I call it a self audit, right? Where I'm going to do a competition audit and be like, hey, look, type in ceramics near me. Okay, hey, look, who's doing stuff right? You know what I mean? What's the market looking like right there? You can go into Google Analytics and really dive into it if you want. To see what are those people searching for, and making sure that, hey, and this is on the online side, right? And making sure that I'm going to be, at the top there for the main categories that I want to be.
You know what's unique to us is, so the way I define my competition, it's very specific, and there's only a couple maybe that even fit into this mold, but someone that can provide the type of service that we provide. Okay. Compete on the customer service level, which pretty much eliminates a lot of them because of the staff that we have. We're able to service our customers thoroughly. So there's only a few, right? And I kind of keep an eye on, but who I watch more, who I consider more competition when I'm trying to improve our shop?
What is that?
I'm looking at other shops my size and stature and say, and usually it's in an online world.
Yeah.
Okay. And you're on social media and you're like watching the things that they're doing, watching the marketing that they're doing. And you're going, that's my competition. We're not competing for customers. We're competing.
God, that's a phenomenal point, Dustin. Yeah.
On shop, and that's what drives me. But listen, I don't want to be caught sleeping, because there's some detailers in our area that absolutely could quickly, if I weren't paying attention at some level, they could quickly, jump up and go, make a wave and go, and I would have to, acknowledge them a little bit more. Again, not taking away from anybody in our area. There's a market for every detailer around. We need more detailers in our area. However, I just don't look to them as direct competition, because the customers that we service, the way that we do it kind of, separates us.
I think that's probably the best point of the show. I think that's the real right there. That's going on Instagram right there. I love that. Because again, if you're just starting out, you could be in a bubble, right? Whatever little town, small town you are, you versus the other detailer, right, across the street, and then you guys are just going back and forth instead of going, hey, best mobile detailer in Los Angeles.
Yeah,
right? And I've done that, and that's how I, started our mobile shop, because I didn't care who did it around us. We're in Chicago. No one does mobile detailing. Well, in Chicago. No, I don't want to. There's some good guys out there.
No, I know what you're saying. You hate to lump everybody up in the same bowl, but sometimes you just have to.
But again, you go out and let's say you start searching in Florida and Los Angeles and California, and you get these ideas of how people are doing it really well outside of your bubble. And man, that is a great point that I think a lot of people should do to continue to expand their business.
It does. It makes sense. I mean, that's the reason we go put the race deck floor in. That's the reason that we go do these things in our shop. I mean, yes, it's functional. Yes, it helps us, but we want to look the part. We want to look the part of these professional shops. We want to be on the level of the people that are doing great in our industry. We want to be on that level, and so the things that we do help get us there, and that stuff never ends. Like, that's not a game that you win and it's over. It's a game that's played every day, and you have to acknowledge it. Now, I do want to preface that by saying I don't think it's your time spent wisely concerning yourself over it a whole lot. Like, like as an entrepreneur, you owe your business more to spend 99% of it on it, and then the other 1% on what else is going on around you, in a sense, because I promise you, looking around ain't going to help you a whole lot there.
No. And I think let's give Billy the shout out, right? That competition is you.
Yeah. Right. He said it best there.
And it's like, hey, you're going to make sure you're doing the best that you can for your business. Right. And it doesn't necessarily matter what everybody else is doing, because you're going to go through those blocks and getting better and better each and every week, every month, every year.
That's right.
As long as you're sort of focusing on yourself and your business, but I do think it takes, take a little bit of time, figure out a good strategy that works for you, right? That works for your business, to be able to go in and know what's out there, whether it's in your immediate area or online.
You know what I found the best competition for us is?
What?
The numbers from last year. We compete. We compete hard against our numbers from last year. And yes, guys, we're way out in left field when we're talking about competition, which you thought we were going to talk about, right? But this should be what you focus on, really, is how are you bettering yourself? And the way you compare that is things that you did in the past. We measure ourselves against numbers in the past, and you should have some numbers there that matter to you, such as sales or production volume, sales volume, how much you completed and got paid for, the number of jobs, which can create your average ticket price.
Yeah.
So the number of jobs divided by, or the amount of money divided by the number of jobs gives you average. So we compare those things, and now that's a competition. We're competing within ourselves. So that kind of drives us too. I don't know.
Yeah. And the one other point is like, you know what? Competition, that owner that owns it across the street, I got great relationships with these guys. You know what I mean? I know them. I reach out to them. I make sure that I've got a really good competition. It's like, keep your enemies closer. No.
No.
It is a thing where, like, if someone comes to us and they're looking for a different type of service, right? They're looking for a $19.99 monthly subscription car wash. Man, listen, down the street, they're going to take really good care of you. I know the level of service they provide.
Sure.
You know, it's not a hand wash. It's a machine, right? Maybe their detail center is a little bit different, you know.
Absolutely. Yeah.
They're still on rotaries and we're doing dual action. But if identifying that customer and saying, hey, you know what, man, today's wash is on us, try them down the street. They're really good. You know what I mean? Like, and just knowing that and having a great relationship of where to send people that aren't necessarily your customers.
There's so much value in knowing your competition around you. Other detailers, when you come together in a local area, and we've worked really hard in our area to do this, bringing them together, because now you can talk about the things that you do different.
Yeah.
Now you can talk about the services that you provide, and you can even talk about pricing. You can talk about pain in the butt customers that nobody wants to deal with. Like, there is way more power, because here's the reality: people don't want to talk to their competition because they're going to know my secret sauce. They're going to know my price. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Why do you think they don't want to?
This is the rationalization. Okay, this is how they rationalize it. I don't want them to know my pricing. I don't want them to know everything I offer you. They're just going to steal that.
Yeah.
Well, how hard is it to pick up the phone and call a detail shop and say, hey, I'm Franco here and I'm going to get my 2,500 detailed. Can you give me a price? And that detailer is going to rattle that shit off like a singing bird. I don't know if that's a saying or not.
The phone call is hard to sometimes get to the owners, right? If you know, some of these other car washes and businesses and detail shops, they're either working or they're on a different job or whatnot. So I'm social media, man. I'm going to just make sure I go out and I'm just going to be like, hey, Nick from Splash, own it down the street, would love to connect. Let me get you a cup of coffee.
Love that.
We're in the same town. You know, I mean, we're all trying to do a good job here. Would love to just connect.
We do trainings here at my shop. Usually try to put together a couple a year. We're a little bit behind. We were supposed to already have had one this year, but man, we've had so much going on. But that's a great way to bring people in and then as a detailer, matter of fact, if you're not confident in your service, like if you're not saying, well, I'm not putting on a training, you can reach out to companies like IGL, or there's numerous other companies that will come do one in-house.
Yeah.
And then you offer, bring in other detailers in your area, bring them in, and then, put on a training with someone else. And if there's a charge involved, y'all split it up and pay for it. And I'm telling you, the elevated service now that you as detailers provide, the market will notice that, and things will start to change for you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And, just making those connections, right? It's kind of, hey, look, this competition thing isn't always such a bad thing. It's going to create you. It's going to create great relationships. And I think that relationships part is just something that's really difficult for a lot of people starting out, because you just feel like, oh my God, it's me versus the world, right? I'm fighting for customers. I'm fighting for business there. I'm fighting
employees if you have them, man, bills, home life in a sense. I mean, like, all of that is pulling for your time. How do you do that? So, my thought here's what people need to realize. And we have big companies telling us things all the time. Take a look at the way CVS, Walgreens, and Rite Aid all kind of find the same corner.
Yep.
Take a look at how Lowe's and Home Depot always seem to find each other.
They're always right next to each other, right?
Okay, they're competition. They sell 2x4s. Each one sells 2x4. And how much better customer service are you gonna get on a big corporation like that, from Lowe's to Home Depot, right?
Yep.
They probably say they're different, but reality, you buying the 2x4s.
They got different colors on there.
Different colors. I like the blue. I'm a Lowe's. Are you Lowe's or Home Depot?
Man, I'm a Menards guy. Do you know Menards down there?
No, I don't know. We don't have Menards.
No, it's more of a local. I don't think it's that local. It's Wisconsin, Illinois. It's Menards. Okay.
So I'm more of an Ace guy if I had to choose local then.
Okay. Yeah, Ace is right next to us. So
yeah. Oh, man, don't cheat on Ace.
But you know, if you got to buy a lot of stuff, you know, Menards has this thing, 11% rebate on everything, and those are my guys over there. So
but you know, so seriously, Lowe's, Home Depot, the reason they do that, guys, is they're not going into an area that they don't think there's a market for business. All right. So as a detailer, like, I'm not trying to go find this desolate island to go detail. I'm going to find where the customers are.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to set up shop, because I guarantee you there's more cars, more boats, more motorcycles, more campers, more RVs, more 18-wheelers to detail than all of us detailers put together can do. So I'm going to go find where people are paying for details, and that's where I'm setting up shop.
Let's say you're somebody watching or listening right now, right? Yeah. And you haven't taken that leap. Maybe you're working at a shop, right? And you haven't taken that leap to do it yourself yet. What are your thoughts on how those, I call them barriers of entry, right? For someone to jump into a space. How do you feel those barriers of entry for a detailer are these days?
Oh, I think it's easy. I think it's probably the easiest business to get into. There is low cost of entry. I mean, you know, you can get out there and grab business. The thing about it is, friends and family all need details. Like, to quickly,
those are like the customers. Actually, they might be the worst at times.
They're the worst. They're the worst. But we all start out detailing the vehicles for our friends and family, and you know, but it's easy to start because of that. Like, you know, so in my opinion, getting into the business is very easy. It really is. I think it's low cost of entry, minimal training, technical training. You know, the training's really on the job. I mean, I'm a huge proponent of going and paying for training, but when you're starting out, you can learn a lot on the fly.
And you know what was really interesting is, I think that a lot of people, right, were in the Detail MVPs group, right? Detail Bookie MVPs group.
Yes.
People don't have full websites, but that social media side, right? If you go and do work and you're there and doing certain things to post and get your name out, you're able to go and you know, penetrate a market
instantly.
Very, very, you know.
Well, look, I got to stop you. I can't let you go too deep in this.
I know.
I cannot let you.
To get in there, Dustin.
I know. We're going to talk about how to beat those customers next week. Beat those that competition. That's it.
You know, yes, you're right. Identify the customer. Figure out exactly who for your business your competition is. It's so important, man. And then we'll beat them later. We'll beat them later. Just figure out who it is first. Figure out who it is. What services are you providing? Hey, listen, all of us are washing cars at the end of the day. You know, the only thing that makes us different is us, me. That's the only thing that really makes my shop different. Now, what I choose to do with that is what distinguishes us from the rest. So understand what value you bring to the table, what makes you unique, and then that's your sales game. That's what you're selling. Ours is flat out customer service. We are going to make sure it is right. We are going to make sure you are happy at all costs. I spend a lot of money through QC. I spend a lot of money, and by money I mean time, on our quality control, on our processes, because I want to make sure that we're doing all the things that we can to make sure the product's delivered perfectly. And that's what makes us different. Is my willingness to commit the resources to make those things happen. Okay. And I think as a detailer, you have to go, what is it that makes me different? And it's not the way I do counterclockwise or clockwise. Okay? It's got to be a little bit deeper. Yeah. It's not Mr. Miyagi, right? You gotta get a little bit deeper than that. Yep.
Do a little soul search and figure out what it is that makes you different, right?
And I think through all these different, you know, episodes that we're putting together, right, we're given all these different things that makes us different. That doesn't necessarily work for everybody. You know what I mean? It's making sure that you have that time to, hey, figure out what it is for you. You know what I mean? Maybe, hey, the customer service thing, not your thing. And that's okay too. But
sure.
Maybe you're great at doing something else inside your business that's better than everyone else. You know, I think that's super important.
I mean, you just may be a great detailer. You know, you may be literally the best polisher. And we make that joke all the time. Well, you know, you're going to be the best polisher. But that may be you. But you got to find somebody that can sell that. You know, you got to find somebody that can pass that off to, you know, that can explain that to your customers in a way that they can digest and say, oh, this is why I would use this shop. It's because the owner is actually doing the work.
Yeah.
The owner is actually the best polisher in town, or the best vacuumer in town.
Yeah, they get it done work done fast. You know what I mean? They do it right. They're always on time, punctuality. You know what I mean? There's so many little things that go into making a customer happy. I think it's important just to make sure that you figure
that's
out
right. Those things are what make you different. Pick out what you can do great and then do that. Adam Finley says customer service above all. Absolutely. Absolutely. And look, it's not an easy thing to get right. It's you have to, it's a daily focus. Yep. It's a daily decision to keep your customers happy, because it's very easy as you start to see success. That's the first thing that slips. Like, you just expect customers to come back. Yeah. You just expect those customers to keep using you. And if you have minimal customer service, maybe everybody's your competition.
Yeah. And then that umbrella just gets bigger. And then you're just like, man, I got a lot of people fighting for us.
Yeah.
For our services there.
Look, man, so many ways to define it. I think we narrowed it down a bit. I think the best way to define who your real competition is, define your customer, figure out who your ideal customer is. Everybody's not your customer, by the way. Detailers need to hear this loud. Yeah. Everybody is not your customer. Stop letting your customers dictate your price. Let your price and services dictate your customers.
Yeah.
That will help you out so much, guys. Y'all listen to that and take heed. It will help you so much.
And then get ready for next week. Get ready for next week. Buckle up. You know what I mean?
Now we're going to tell you how to beat that competition.
Beat that competition. What you're going to find us, YouTube, Facebook, Spotify. And if you're watching, share this. Share the video.
Share it, man. Yeah.
Let's someone that's detailing, someone that's starting off in business. We're here to help.
Absolutely. Look, always great conversation with you, Nick. I appreciate you, man. You are a rock star with this thing. Thanks as always. And we will see you guys next week. Peace.
See ya.